Hello and welcome to the It's All Good show. My name is Denise Belisle and I'm a Serenity expert and positive intelligence specialist. Welcome to my show. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Today I want to talk about being an empty nesters. But before I get started, I want to let you know that you could subscribe to my YouTube channel by going to YouTube channel / Denise Belisle and watch all the previous episodes that I have broadcast since the inception in August 2021, I think. So that's a long time ago. So I've been doing these shows every Monday, and I invite you to come and watch the other show and subscribe to my channel. So whenever another show comes up, you can be notified. Then also, if you want to be on this show, or if you would like, after my conversation, you feel, oh, I'd like to work with Denise, or I'd like to know more about her, book a call with me at tiny.cc / talk with Denise, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. But now let's talk about why, first of all, this show is called It's All Good. And that's going to be very much linked to our conversation today about being an empty nesters. The show is called It's All Good because regardless of what happened in your life, life is awesome. And sometimes little hurdle gets there in the way, but there's always positive in every negative situation. And there's always negative in every positive situation. Nothing is forever 100% perfect. Life is imperfect, so we can't expect things to be 100% one way or the other. And so let's talk about empty nesters. Oh, it's also my favorite cup. It's all good. But empty nesters, the major definition of empty nesters is usually about parents that have their kids that have flew out of the nest. So that's why we call them empty nesters. And now they find themselves after raising their kid for 17, 18, 20, 21 years. And now the kids leave the house and the parents find themselves by themselves. And there's a whole bunch of emotional turmoil that come with that. And a lot of ecstasy also for a lot of parents, like finally the kids are out of the house. And but what I define also as an empty nesters is if, let's say, you're married and your spouse passed away and you find yourself alone in the house. I feel that you become also like an empty nesters because your nest is now emptier than it used to. Or if you get a divorce and you find yourself again without your partner, doesn't have to mean that he's passed away, but you find yourself without a partner and your heart is a little bit empty because of that. And if you have children, well, the children might go back and forth. And when the children are not with you, you feel a bit also empty nest. And one other situation is if you have pets, and our pets unfortunately don't live forever. And when those pets leaves us and through illness or old age, then we feel a little bit of emptiness inside of us. And this is why I brought this subject today. Well, I've been working with empty nesters for the last year or two, but closest to my heart today, and I might be tearing up. A week ago, my favorite cat, my last cat, I had two cats, and he passed away of old age. And now I have experienced exactly what I teach people about embracing what you have today and be grateful for the life that I had with that cat. He's been around for 17 and a half years. I had him with his brother, and he was the survivor of his brother. His brother passed away 2.5 years ago from cancer. He had a lump here, and it grew down initially, and then it grew up. And as it started to grow up, he couldn't chew, he couldn't close his mouth, he couldn't, anything you can do if your mouth's always open, that's not great. So I had to help him transition. And Tiger, the last one, his brother died of old age last week. And it's something when you lose someone that you've had for so long, it's not easy. But what I've done and what I suggest to the people that I work with is, first of all, to embrace this situation, to absorb it, to acknowledge it, to live with it, but also to not hang on in the past and live the negative energy of that departure. So one suggestion that I give parents is repurposing your area where your kids used to live, unless they'll be coming back and forth all the time when you have separation and the kids live away. But let's say the kid gets married or got a job, you move out of town, and you keep the room, for example, and you keep that room as this is John's room. But by doing that, every single time you walk by the room, you think that this is John's room and now John's gone. So what I've done on Monday and Tuesday is I gathered everything, because I'm not going to get another cat just now. I'm not going to get another cat for several years, just because my life situation might change. I'm thinking of maybe moving away, and it's easier if you move away alone, and then when you relocate wherever you're going, then you get another pet. So I'm not going to get a cat for a while. And so I gathered all the cat stuff, like the bowls, the food, the brush, everything I could think of, that belongs to the cat, and I give it away. I cleaned up all his area. I cleaned up his carpet. I threw away his favorite box. I did all of that, and you know what? That helps me a lot into not, let's say I left his bedding on the floor for a week or 2 or 3. Then every time I pass by, I would think of him. So one thing I had forgotten is I put in the fridge a little napkin, so where I would put his can of food there, and I forgot the napkin. So a couple of days later, I opened the fridge and I see the napkin, and I did a because that reminded me of Tiger. So I took the napkin and recycled it. And it's not that I don't want to think about him, but I don't want the lack of his presence to give me grief, to give me sadness. I want to think about him, and I do think about him every day, as the love I've had for him, as the support he gave me and the support I gave him. So this is why one of the things I tell the parents is, if you have a room where your kids used to live, repurpose that room. It could be a spare bedroom, or you can put, instead of having the bed of your kids, you can recycle that bed and maybe put a sofa bed, and then put a lamp, and put a TV, or put a computer, or put, a hobby room where you would do your puzzle, or you would do your painting, drawing, whatever you decide to do as a hobby. And so you honor your kid by repurposing that room. And you could think of your kid every time you go into his bedroom, but you don't think about it by seeing all the paraphernalia that he used to have in his room, like his favorite picture on the wall, or, things like that, his trophies that he didn't bring with him. Or so this way it allows you to still think of your kid, but not go back to the old memory by seeing those old things. So that's what I've been doing all week. I've been repurposing, like I gave away all the food and the bowls and everything, because I'm if I have another cat, if and when I have another cat, I'll just buy it again. But having these things hanging around, I know that it was going to give me a little bit too much memories of the past in a negative way, thinking of the lost. So what I would suggest is, for you to be able to find ways to repurpose yourself. And I created a checklist that's called the Starting Over checklist. And here's the link here in the description. So I invite you to download this checklist. And one of the checklist tips is to repurpose, right? Repurpose the room and find new activities that supports you. And I did that too yesterday. I was browsing through YouTube reel, and then I fell into one that was called neuro. Let me look. I forgot. Neuro arts, like neuro. I'll find a word at some point, but it's to draw line and to make it into look like neuron. And what it does is it's supposed to be, it's like doodling, right? Just writing stuff. But then yesterday I pull out my drawing book and I took my felt and then I did the line and then I colored it and then I loved it. I felt that it's something I would not have done in the past. And it's something I'm going to do again because I think it's something that I can develop and get good at and create really good art out of that. But what allows me to do is create new activities that supports me into the new life without a pet. So, and sometimes, like there's always, it's when I say it's all good, is there's always good things that comes out of aversion or negative event. One good things that comes out of that is that I'm sleeping better. I've been sleeping so well in the last week. I've had undisturbed sleep. I wake up when my cycle is over, my sleep cycle is over, and I'm refreshed. I've slept, like I have a Fitbit and it gives me a score at the end, and I'm in the 80s all week because I've undisturbed, like because Tiger, because he was old in the last few weeks, the last month, he would come and at night and cuddle with me in bed. And of course I will have him and I would cuddle with him and I would pet him and he would purr and we couldn't sleep. I would just pet him. Sometimes I would slightly fall asleep, but then he would put his little paw and pull my hair or pull my nose. And so this way, it would wake me up and then I would pet him again and he would sleep. So I sleep better. And I'm sure there's other things, less cleaning to do, not having to buy food, there's all these positive things. Um, so I invite you that when you go into a transition in your life, when you become an empty nester, whether from a loss of a child that leaving the house, or maybe just a loss of a child that passed away, or a pet, or separation from a partner, just take time to honor them, but don't live in the past of what you're missing, but more live in the past of the memories that you've had with them. And that will make a difference. And if you need help with that, well, call me, because definitely I've been through it and I'm going through it right now. And of course I'm sad. Of course I'm grieving. But I choose to honor him in a positive way, to move on, to find new things to do, and to enjoy my sleep at night. So I'll keep it short for today because I didn't have a guest for today, which was probably meant to be, because I wanted to talk about this. And so again, if you want the checklist, is starting over checklist, which bit.ly// starting over checklist. And I invite you to download it and check it out. And again, if you want to watch all my other videos, you can go to youtube.com/Denise Belisle, where all the previous videos from my previous interviews are there. And I have amazing interview from guests all around the world. And finally, if you want to have a chat with me, if you're going through some difficult time and you'd like to have someone to talk to, well, give me a call and then we can book a call so that we can talk about it and see how I can support you. So until next time, have a wonderful week. Enjoy the time that you have with the people or the animals that are around you, because you never know when it's going to be the end of it. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye.